The Cold War was a dangerous period of history. After World War II, the world was divided into two sides: the capitalist West, led by the United States, and the communist East, led by the Soviet Union. Both sides didn't fight directly, but they fought through threats, spies, proxy wars, and fear. This conflict became known as the Cold War. But what if, instead of staying cold, the war turned hot? What if World War III actually happened during this time? Let us imagine this alternate world. It is 1953. Joseph Stalin has died. The new Soviet leader, Nikita Khrushchev, wants to show the strength of communism. At the same time, Dwight D. Eisenhower is President of the United States. Both nations have nuclear weapons, and both are preparing for the worst. In this alternate history, the real disaster starts in East Germany. Protests begin in Berlin. The people are tired of Soviet control. Soviet soldiers try to crush the protests, but the situation gets out of control. American forces, who are protecting West Berlin, hear gunfire and believe the Soviets are attacking. They respond. Shots are fired. Within 24 hours, Berlin becomes a war zone. The Soviet Union declares that the West has violated East German territory. The USA says the USSR has attacked its soldiers. NATO members like Britain, France, and West Germany prepare for war. On the other side, the USSR calls its allies, Poland, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and others, into battle. World War III begins in 1954. The war in Europe. The first year is brutal. Western and Eastern forces clash in Germany. Huge tank battles take place near Frankfurt and Dresden. Cities like Munich, Prague, and Warsaw are bombed repeatedly. Millions of people try to flee, but borders are closed. Nuclear bombs are not used at first, but everyone knows they are ready. The war does not stay in Germany. Norway and Denmark are attacked by Soviet forces. Italy is bombed. France sees destruction like it did in World War I and II. Even neutral countries like Switzerland suffer from airstrikes and refugees. The war in Asia. In Asia, China sees an opportunity. It invades Taiwan and joins the Soviet side. The US sends troops from Japan and the Philippines to defend Taiwan. A new front opens in the Pacific Ocean. Naval battles take place between US and Chinese forces. North Korea also attacks South Korea again. This time, the war is far more destructive. Japan is hit by Soviet missiles. The US uses nuclear bombs on Chinese bases near the Korean border. India, trying to stay neutral, struggles with refugees and border conflicts. Pakistan sides with the US to gain weapons and money. Afghanistan becomes a battlefield between Soviet and US forces. The war in the Middle East. In the Middle East, oil becomes a key target. The Soviet Union tries to control Iran and Iraq. The United States sends troops to protect Saudi Arabia and Israel. Egypt, under Gamal Abdel Nasser, sides with the Soviets. A massive war breaks out across deserts and cities. Jerusalem is bombed. The Suez Canal is closed. Oil prices skyrocket. The world economy starts to collapse. Africa and Latin America. In Africa, colonial powers like Britain and France are too busy fighting in Europe to control their colonies. Rebellions rise everywhere. Some African leaders take Soviet support, others choose the US. Civil wars and famines begin. In Latin America, countries like Brazil and Argentina try to stay out, but revolutionaries rise up, supported by foreign powers. Cuba becomes a Soviet ally early and allows Soviet missiles, years before the real Cuban Missile Crisis. The US blockades Cuba, leading to another near-nuclear conflict in the Caribbean. The use of nuclear weapons. By 1955, the war becomes too big. Both sides start using nuclear weapons. The first bomb is dropped on Moscow by an American B-52 bomber. Millions die. The Soviet response is brutal. A nuclear bomb is dropped on London, then another on Paris, then New York, then Kiev, then Tokyo. Major cities are wiped out. Radiation spreads. Crops fail. Millions more die not in battle but from hunger and sickness. The collapse of civilization. By 1957, the world is a ruin. Governments fall. The United Nations is powerless. The global economy is destroyed. Technology stops advancing. There are no computers, no satellites, no moon missions. The internet is never invented. People live in fear, in ruins, under military rule or no rule at all. The USA and USSR, once the two most powerful nations, are now broken. Cities are gone, farmlands are poisoned. People survive underground or in rural areas. A few countries remain stable, like Switzerland, New Zealand, and parts of South America, but they are overwhelmed by refugees. A new dark age. The war ends not with victory, but with silence. A ceasefire is signed in 1958, but it means little. There is no peace, only survival. The Cold War, which was meant to stop another world war, became the most destructive war in human history. Humanity goes back 50 years in development. Education, science, and medicine suffer. A new dark age begins. Conclusion. This is what could have happened if the Cold War had turned hot. It reminds us how close the world came to total destruction, and how important peace, diplomacy, and understanding really are.